Do you remember when we just had one double experience weekend a year where we had to grind unhealthy hours to be able to get our gains in? And now we actually have 4 double experience events a year. Is this too much? Or is this actually quite smart from Jagex? Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Chevalric and today we're going to be talking about double experience in RuneScape and the 4 events that we have every single year. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, or maybe it's actually a very logical thing. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Honestly guys, I don't want to be that YouTuber, but generally 96% of you guys are not subscribed. Please, we're trying to hit 500 and eventually 1k subscribers, so please help me out and click that subscribe button. I do these commentaries every single week. I try to upload around 2 videos a week, so if you're enjoying my content, please help me out. Also, leave a like on the video, that does help me out as well, and join in with the conversation in the comment section down below. You guys have absolutely been killing it over the last few videos, so thank you so much for that. I have had a blast reading your comments, having discussions with you guys, just having general conversation, and it's sick. So definitely join in with the conversation in the comment section down below. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So, double experience events. Are they such a bad thing? It's always a topic that comes up when there's a double experience event going on in RuneScape. As of me making this video, the double experience event of February 2022 is going live as we speak. And it always comes up. Like, I see it on Twitter, I see it on Reddit, like, oh, we have too many double experience events. Oh, this is devaluing a maxcape. Oh, this is just making the game easier for other people. And I thought, you know what, let's actually have a discussion about it, because I think that there's actually a good explanation for it, and I think it's actually quite an interesting topic to talk about. But let me preface one thing. I genuinely think it's good that we no longer have a weekend where you have to grind unhealthy hours like back in the day. Like, for everyone who was around back then, do you remember how bad it was when you just sat there on Friday just thinking like, okay, you know what, we're going live at 12. Then we have to grind all weekend, and then on Monday 12, maybe I can squeeze a couple of hours in before school or work or whatever, and then it just wasn't the one. At least in my opinion, I just really, like, I look at it now and I think, oh, well, fun, but also, I was in secondary school or middle school or high school, whatever you're from, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. So it doesn't really matter that I had to grind unhealthy hours in the weekend because I didn't have responsibilities. But I don't want to think about that now, bro. Like, I would hate that. Like, I would literally sit there and think, ugh, I need to grind for an entire weekend. Nah, dude, I can't be asked. Like, literally. It's good that we just have 2 weeks to spend your double experience whenever you want, that you can pause it, and that you can just even do other content in the game as well due to the pause button. And I think that's also a good argument to make. Like, if you don't want double experience, just don't press play on double experience. If you want to grind on your main account, obviously Ironman do not get double experience events, then don't interact with it. Just don't press the play button and you can get your achievement however you want it. Because at the end of the day, in RuneScape, at least in my opinion, your achievements are for you. I don't care if you got 120 Herblore during double experience or off double experience. There's no way to see that, and no one cares about that, dude. So chill. Like, literally no one cares about. Maybe a small set of community, like a small community within RuneScape might care for that, but the majority of players really doesn't care if you did that during double experience or outside of double experience. But as I said, I do think there's actually quite a logical explanation, or at least I think it comes into play when it comes to double experience, and that is the gaming industry changing over the last 10-15 years. You're probably thinking, Chev, what the hell? What the hell? How does this have anything to do with RuneScape and double experience? But hear me out. So, look at any game that you have in your collection. You probably have a lot of games. Now think back about when you were a kid and how many games you had back then, right? At least for me and for the people that I talked to about this video, because I wanted to check if it wasn't just me. Like, my parents aren't poor, but they're not bitch either. They're just average. So I had a couple of video games, but I didn't have that many. But I talked to quite a few people of my age, and they all said the exact same. We had like a couple of games. Like, for me, it was mainly Pokemon, and at some point I got the R4 cartridge for my DS where I could play a lot of games, but that's besides the point. Shout out the R4. Like, that thing was a game changer, honestly. But the thing is, we didn't have that many games. So at least I always felt like I had to finish a game before actually, first of all, buying a new game, or just in general, before going back to another game or restarting that game, because you don't want to play the same game. You want to do something new, right? Like with Pokemon, for example, like I struggled to find the underground like water areas in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald because it was difficult, but I just kept on trying because I really wanted to finish the game. Nowadays, when you just, at least I see this with my younger cousins, they just switch to another game because they have so many games. It's not because their parents give them so many games. It's just because there are more free games and games got cheaper over the years. And, you know, it's not that idea anymore like, oh, it's bad for you. No, actually, you can learn a lot from video games is what people are starting to see. But my point with that is like, there is more choice. So us grinding out RuneScape like we did back in the day is less, you know, it's less fun for any of us. Even people who have been playing for years upon years, like, you now have a job, you now go to uni, you now have responsibility, so you don't even have the time anymore to actually grind out a game like RuneScape. So what does that mean? Like, how does this apply to double experience? Well, I think you can see the connection, what I'm saying, right? Double experience make things quicker. And if you think about it, what is the most fun part about RuneScape? At least in my opinion, I think to the community's opinion as well, it's PVM. It's so fun to go bossing, whether that's God Protection 2, God Protection 3, whether that's group bossing, whether that's whatever, like any boss. It's the most fun part about RuneScape. It's the most popular. If you go look up any guides on RuneScape on YouTube, the most popular guides or the most requested guides are always bossing or PVM guides. Even in my comment section down below, people are asking like, hey dude, can you make some beginner guides on bossing or whatever? Like, that's usually the thing that people are most interested about and talk about most. Even in my streams as well, go follow me on Twitch, by the way. People are always asking me like, hey dude, can you give me some advice on bosses when I'm doing any bossing? Because it is what people want to do. And I know for bossing, you technically only need Herblore, Prayer, Combat Stat, Summoning, and Archaeology does help. But there's so many things that could just help, like whether that's quest, whether that's achievement diaries, whether that's even just small little things like on higher skills. Like for example, you want to have Croesus, fishing, mining, woodcutting, and hunter. Having them 99 is just very beneficial because you gather everything a lot quicker. So getting to that end game and getting to that end goal is so much more applicable or nicer or easier for people to do when they're double experience events. And having 4 of them a year makes it so people can actually, you know, grind that out and don't have to play unhealthy hours to eventually get that max cape. As I said, you do not need a max cape to PVM, but it generally does help out with certain things, besides it generally being a decent cape for PVM when it comes to like putting 3 perks in it as well. Like that does help. It's definitely not required. Like you definitely do not need it. And I think that's how a lot of people look at it. Like maxing isn't such a big thing anymore in RuneScape 3. There are over 100,000 people that max. Like if you look at old school RuneScape, and you see someone with a max cape, you're just like, wow, damn, he put in some time. But nowadays, it's just different. Higher XP rates are more enjoyable for players, and especially the players that play RuneScape 3. At least that's what I think on it. And I think double experience events really help with that. And that kind of brings us into something as well. If you look at the numbers like of people playing during double experience, just go look at it now. Like go to the RuneScape website right now if you're watching this video, and go look at the numbers of people playing RuneScape 3. Obviously, you need to subtract the players that are playing old school as well, but that doesn't matter. You see the players are going up during double experience, and that's important for Jagex. You could think like, oh, well, they just only care about money and thing. But yes, they do. Jagex is a company, whether you like it or not. That's reality. And anyone cares about numbers going up. You want your bank account numbers to go up as well, don't you? I want the numbers on my YouTube channel to go up as well. It's just a part of life. If you like it or not, if you think it's a good thing or not, it's just a part of it. So you kind of have to accept it. And that's a good thing for Jagex when the numbers go up and the game gets more popularity because of it. And people might stick around after a double experience event because they think, hey, you know what? Actually, that was quite fun. Or hey, maybe now I've achieved my goal and can play the game. Another thing that I think double experience events, or at least the consistency of the double experience events, is a good thing, is for market manipulation. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, but usually around the time we would usually get a double experience event, the market would be so volatile when it came to like skilling items or even combat items, because people were just guessing if there was going to be a double experience event and they were panic selling or panic buying, which was just not good for the market. Like, generally, I'm no market expert, but I think all I know from basic economics in school was it's good when a market like goes up and down and up and down, like on a consistent way. Obviously, you want it to be consistent, like in like one straight line. But if it just goes up and down consistently, that's also a good thing. And now, because everyone kind of knows when a double experience event is, the market is consistent. Like, yes, skilling supplies go up around double experience events, and then after double experience events, PVM items go up again because people sold whatever to actually buy the skilling supply. So it is very predictable, and that makes it good for players because it's not so easily manipulatable, if that's even a word. Yes, merging is a lot easier because if you know how it works, like I will sell my PVM loot probably at the end of double experience or just a week or two after, when everyone starts PVMing again. And I buy my supplies a month in advance when I think double experience will be, to save some money. And lastly, one last thing. What do I think? Well, I think I don't care. Yeah, generally, I really do not care. Dude, I have a max cape and I generally do not care. If you don't want to experience double experience, if you don't want double XP, just don't turn it on your main. Also, if you don't want to interact with it at all, just play an Ironman. It's that simple. If you want to actually have a grind, if you want to actually have that challenge, go play an Ironman. Like, that's just a solution for you. Don't complain about it. I generally think that it could just be good for the game, and I don't think it's like necessarily a good thing or necessarily a bad thing for the game. I just generally think that it could just be, it's just there. You know what I mean? If you want that quick experience, go get it. If you want to get those boring skills out of the way, power to you. Honestly, I used it, and now I'm in a state of the game where I'm absolutely loving it, and I think I'm having a great time with it, and it's just good. Like, I don't care if it's 4 times, 2 times a year. Could it be a little bit less? Could it be 2 times a year? Sure, whatever. But 4 times a year also makes it so you don't have to sweat out that much during double experience, and you could just wait for the next event if you didn't finish off whatever skill you did. But that's me. What do you guys think? As always, leave it in the comment section down below. Leave a like on this video as well. Also, tell me if I'm an absolute idiot for thinking that this is the reason, or that this is a good point, or whatever, or that I'm actually quite a smart guy and that I figured it out. Anything, just be nice in the comment section down below. Obviously, I'm just kidding about all that. You guys know me. Like, I just like to mess around, have a little joke with you guys. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Like the video if you did enjoy it. As I said, subscribe if you do. We're on the road to 500 and eventually 1,000 subscribers. Comment, and without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Chevalric, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.